for a Thursday afternoon, Lunchtime Live with Craig V. And joining me on the line, a very special guest. As we mentioned in the intro, he has done so much in his years. A friend to rock stars and an avid photographer, and that's basically how he really got started. And it's because, and the INXS thing links in, of course, because he was very, very good friends with the boys in INXS, including Michael, right up until his passing, and took a lot of stunning photos, which you can get in the book Michael Hutchence in Pictures, if you can find it. He's also moved into exhibiting a lot of these photographs of not just Michael, but a bunch of different celebrities from all parts of the entertainment industry, and he's also a part of World Letter Writing Day, which we will get to about as well. Now he's moved into children's literature. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show Mr. Richard Simpkin.
Hello, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Not a problem, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on board. Richard, first of all, mate, congratulations on the new books, the new kids' books, because I've been having a look at them over the last few days, and I've got to say, absolutely brilliant stuff.
Oh, thanks. I was, well, you mentioned in the intro there, I founded World Letter Writing Day. I founded that in 2014, and pre-COVID lockdown, I was going to schools and teaching kids, not even teaching kids, but encouraging kids in the World Letter Writing Day workshop to pick up a pen or pencil and get a piece of paper, take a break from social media and your phones and tablets and everything, and just write a handwritten letter. It just could be a thank you letter to mum and dad. It could be a letter to your grandparents, that live in interstate or overseas. So I was doing all that, and while I was there, I'd always bring my Australian Legends book. A few years ago, I had a book out called 100 Australian Legends, where I met, photographed and interviewed all 100 Australian legends, everyone from Don Bradman to Frank Lowy to the last person that was alive from Gallipoli. His name was Alec Campbell. And the kids loved the books, but I realised that they were probably, aimed at adults. And in last year in lockdown, my little boy, who was 7 or 8, depending on what month it was last year, he was looking at my Legends book and he said, "Dad, why don't you do some books for kids about, your Aussie legends?" So I got the idea from him and some other students, and I've written these 3 kids books, one on Ash Barty, one on Kathy Freeman, and one on Steve Irwin. And it's about having a dream as a kid, believing in yourself, never giving up, and then achieving your dream as an adult. So they're really inspirational books, for kind of the 6 to sort of 9-year-old sort of age bracket.
It is really, really good too. And the 3 people that you've picked right off the bat, with Steve, Ash and Kathy, I mean, absolute icons in Australia and indeed known around the world for their achievements. Kathy and Ash are both in the sporting field, of course. Steve, the crocodile hunter, who is still much loved and much missed around the world for his rather zany TV shows and documentaries and things like that, but really, really inspirational. And I think it's really good that kids get to look up to these role models and get presented with them in a way that's easy to digest. I mean, I've seen similar ideas to this done before, but I think what you've done, like, as I say, looking through the books and the illustrations in these are just incredible. Like the detail, it's almost like you're looking at a photo of the real person.
Yeah, well, it was. I collaborated with. So the books are all printed and made in Queensland. I wanted a local, Australian publisher and printer, and so a lady called Deborah O'Halloran did the illustrations for the books, and the publishing house up in Queensland called Bullurong Press. They're a little local publishing house, which I love. And yeah, the illustrations tell the story. Hopefully, my words paint a picture and tell a story as well. But they're a lot of fun. My little boy, who's 9 now, Oliver, he loves them. And I sent a bunch, before the books actually got published months ago, I sent the manuscripts out to my friends with children, and they came back and said, "Spot on, you've got it." And the kids love it. So the kids get to learn about these inspirational Australians in a fun and educational way. And at the back, there's a fun thing that says, 10 fun questions. And then they ask, I ask the kids questions, about the legends.
Oh, are we there? There we are.
Yeah, look, they're a lot of fun, and I hopefully kids all around Australia will get to learn about those 3 great Aussie legends. And if they sell, and I hope they will, I'm planning on one to do one on Michael Hutchins for next year as well, so all the kids can learn about Michael. So let's hope.
I was just about to ask you that question.
But these
Actually,
three movies
is Hutch going to get a look in this book series? Because your relationship, I mean, it's well documented. Your relationship with Michael over the years, and it came about by chance, didn't it? I mean, it was just you happened to be, because you were a fan at the time. You were a fan of different music at the time, and you just happened to meet outside a hotel, if I remember correctly, when they were touring or something.
Yeah, no, they weren't. But yes, half that's true. Good memory, Craig. Michael was staying in a hotel in Sydney called the Steeple Townhouse, and that's where all the celebrities would stay in the 80s and 90s. And I found out in 1989 that Michael was there. You see, INXS were rehearsing down at the Sydney Opera House. They were rehearsing for the X album, which they did a few months after that. And me and my mate went down to the hotel. We just had a piece of paper and a pen. No joke. We didn't even bring a record. And that's how kind of, naive we were. I should have got a record signed that day. But we had a piece of paper. Michael came out of the hotel on his Harley Davidson, so rock star, isn't it? And he signed an autograph for us. And then I found out a few days later, I think I found out that INXS were rehearsing at the Opera House. A mate of mine at school told me. So a couple of friends and I went down. We did bring records that day and met all of INXS, and they were just fantastic. We got a record signed, we got photos with them, and we actually got a group photo. They were doing a photo shoot at the back of the truck. It was unbelievable. And so they gave us photos and autographs. They were fantastic. And then not long after that, it was school holidays. It was like January 1990 now. And I read in a music mag or a local music mag that INXS were going into the studios to do an album. That album happened to be X. And I thought, so I got one of my INXS records and it said, Kick was recorded at Rhinoceros Recording Studios in Surrey Hill, Sydney. So I thought, I'll pop down there and see if they're down there. So I caught the busing, went down. It was just, off near the city. And about 10 minutes after going down, I heard this Harley Davidson. I thought, well, I know that noise. It was Michael's Harley. So went down to the car park and he's like, hey, how you going? He remembered me from, a few weeks earlier. Took me up to the studios and I got, some more records signed. And then I sort of went back the next day and the next day. And then there was a couple of other girls that were kind of hanging out there too on their holidays because it was awesome. Like we're all teenagers hanging out with INXS on our school holiday. It's almost like the kid from Almost Famous. It was pretty amazing. And then after those 5 or 6 weeks of holidays, it came time to go back to school. And I said to my mum, I want to be a photographer, and I've got access to INXS, one of the biggest bands in the world. And Michael Hutchins was, of course, one of the biggest rock stars in the world. He was dating Kylie Minogue at the time, and I was just around them. And I said, can I leave school and focus my photography on what's happening right now? So she said yes. I left school. I hung out at the studios for the next 5 months and got to know the guys really well. And that kind of started everything for me.
And it progressed into so many different things as well. I mean, you've gotten to meet so many different people from all walks of life. I've seen photos of you with everyone from Bono from U2 right through to Audrey Hepburn to all sorts of different people in different walks of life. And the thing is, I want to make this absolutely clear as well, because Richard, you do get to approach these celebrities, but you are definitely not a paparazzi. You are not part of that crowd at all. And that's something that I like to make clear because over the years there've been different people have said basically what you're doing is no different, and I've said no, it's very different because Richard approaches these people very, very respectfully, and and if they say sometimes you'll get issues because I'm sure you've had to deal with minders and security and those sorts of things in those sorts of environments.
Well, look, yes, 100%. And look, the easiest way to describe it is the paparazzi don't ask for permission to take a photo. I've always asked for permission. So if you see me with a celebrity and, I've got a photo with them or a photo of them, they've said yes to my request and they've posed. So it's a very different world. So, so that's the easiest way to sum it up. But yeah, as you said, I've met a lot. I kind of stopped doing it in 2013. I got out of the sort of the celebrity world, you might say. And then, the following year I found it World Letter Writing Day. So I've really focused on that, and I've had 8 books published now. So I've been very fortunate off the back of that sort of celebrity world to get into the publishing world now, and as I said, World Leather Writing Day. So and I'm a full-time dad, so that all keeps me busy now. I don't need to hang out with the Dalai Lama or any Bon Jovi or anything. That was back in the day. Now I've moved on, but it was a lot of fun and I loved it.
Yeah, it's definitely a progression of what you've done as well. And like I said, you've done wonderful work over the years with your photography and with the books that you've published, and to now move into these sorts of areas, helping to educate kids about letter writing and indeed about Australian culture and Australian history and these icons of Australian culture with the new book series. The book series is, of course, Aussie Big Achievers and is available in all good bookstores now. Australian made, Australian written, and Australian published. Make sure you get them just out in time for Christmas, and we'll put some links up on our Facebook and other social media as well to make sure that people can get access to these. Richard, thank you so much for talking to us about this. Once again, congratulations on the books, and we look forward to seeing more in the series very, very soon.
Oh, thank you, and it's a pleasure. And thanks for thinking of me and listening to my stories. And hopefully next year we can have a longer chat, and I'll tell you some more stories, and we'll keep it going. But I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me.
Not a problem, Richard. I think we're going to have to. I think, judging by some of the stories I already know of you with conversations that we've had in various locations and people that I've spoken to that know you, people like Michael's sister Tina and others. I honestly do believe that we could actually make a podcast just on all of that. So thank you so much, Richard. We will catch up with you again. Thanks for being on the VFE Network and Lunchtime Live for a Thursday afternoon.
Thanks, Craig. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks, mate.
Craig V's Lunchtime Live on VFE Variety.